Hey guys, I want to talk a little bit about Matthew 7 7. Want to give a big shout out to Enjoying Everyday Life magazine by Joyce Myers. And this is something that she was talking about in one of the articles. The way the magazine is set up is different articles, but it feels like articles, but also like devotionals as well. And she was talking about Matthew 7 7 and how, we can be ask, seek, and knock, basically, is what God tells us. And we don't take full advantage of that scripture. And I always say that, like, ask, seek, and knock. And it's basically, for me, that verse is telling us to just persevere. Don't stop. Don't give up. In short, that's what Matthew 7 7 is telling us. But it's also, as Joyce's article enlightened me, telling us to don't be afraid to ask for the big things. Don't be afraid to ask for anything at all. I think when we grow up, we're thinking of God like our parents. We're thinking of God like our boss. We're thinking of God like these authority figures that we've seen throughout our lives in the world. And you know how you might be a little bit afraid to ask your mom or your dad certain thing because in the past either they said no, or they're just not financially able to do that when you were growing up. So you were, you tiptoed around certain things and you just did without. And because you just felt like my asking was limited, as well as with your bosses, you might feel like, well, they're not going to look at me for that promotion, or we put a little bit of our own self-esteem in there as well, sometimes our own issues, and maybe what you think the company's abilities are. And if you don't think they're that strong or that great, then you don't think you're going to get that job or that position. You don't think your parent can give you that special thing you wanted. So you're asking, you're seeking, you're knocking is already limited due to just your life experiences. So to just be able to look at that scripture in a new way, and thanks to that ministry of the ministry of Joyce Myers, it's like I can see it in a different perspective. And I can see it as, okay, you can ask God for anything. You can even ask God for a spouse. You can ask God for a mate, a life partner. Whatever you are seeking from God, you can ask Him that. He has no limitations on what He can give you. And I've had some insecurities when it comes to talking about having a spouse and asking God for a partner and asking God for a mate. To me, I felt like I shouldn't have to ask God for this because it makes it seem like I'm not a catch. I'm not valuable. It'll take a miracle, the miracle of God's hand, to bring someone in my life to want me. So I was always thinking that, that's not something I asked for. Everybody gets married. Everybody has a spouse. I'm valuable enough. I'm attractive enough. I'm a good enough person. I'm a kind enough person. I mean, it's automatic. You'll get this. You're gonna get married just like most people. Well, today we're living a little bit different day and time. Is when I started coming up, and I just aged out of the millennial scene. So it's like being caught in between two worlds, from the past of what we knew to the future, what's going on now. The climate of relationships and love is different. There was always a high divorce rate, but it's just, to this point, it's a high divorce rate on top of a low marriage rate. And so this is what we have to deal with in this generation, this day and time. So I think that plays a part as a factor as well. But it's okay to ask God for those things. Even in my mindset, what I felt like, you just should, everybody gets this. Why should I have to ask God? Aren't I good enough? Again, does lightning have to strike for this to happen for me? Am I that horrible of a person? No, I'm a decent enough person where somebody would find me a catch, right? Well, I would think most of us are, but it's nothing wrong with praying for the desires of your heart, even praying to have a certain person in your life. In a way, it felt like it was reading desperation for me. And I wouldn't recommend honing in on a certain person unless God is really leading you toward that person. And of course, that person must be single. I've heard of people praying for other people's spouses and crazy things like that. Definitely, you can't do that. That's not good. Um, so you definitely have to be aware of how you pray and the best practices of praying. But know that God can give you anything, and He can bring that person into your life if that's what your desire is. And He can bring success into your life. He can bring all these amazing things into your life. Basically, don't pray small, don't pray limited. Um, don't just pray for the basics, because growing up, that's what I recall praying for, the basics, and just thanking God for the basic things He's blessed us with, which is still a great thing to do. But why not ask for more? Why not? It's not like you're being greedy. You don't have to ask like Jesus is a genie and He's gonna just drop frivolous things in your lap, and watches and gold and just things that you want for vanity purposes. No, I mean, you have to have a very thoughtful prayer life when you talk to God. And even if you're at a stage when you're a new Christian and you're just maybe thinking, no, I'll ask for everything and anything, God will show you as you grow with Him how He responds to all these prayers. And something she said in the magazine was, it's better to, ask big and see that God moves in a few places than to not ask at all and get exactly what you didn't ask for, which is nothing. So I think a factor of disappointment can be in there too. It's like, I don't want to pray and then God disappoints me, and then I feel like I'm disappointed with God, and this is a whole nother thing that happens in me. I don't want to have those feelings toward God. So, I mean, again, a lot of different things you could think about when it comes to Matthew 7:7, along with don't give up, persevere, keep going. You can ask, seek, and knock for anything, because you have to realize how big and great your God is. He's not an earthly man or woman. He's not bound by any limitations. Even the billionaires of the world, they're limited. He has no limitations. So I am just blessed, and we're blessed to have a God like that. An amazing God, but He's not frivolous. He's not vain. So you're not going to get these vanity little items. You may get a car. That might be something you need. You may need a new house. That's something that you need. These are big ticket items, but God can do that. And it's not frivolous. It's not vain, because it's something that's needed for your life, for most people's lives and lifestyle. So I just thought that was an awesome scripture and a great way to think about life and love, or even relationships as well. Ask for, if you have a strained relationship with a loved one, ask God to heal that relationship. Sometimes you don't even think that these things are possible. You think the other person is hard-hearted. Maybe you're hard-hearted and this isn't possible. God can do anything, and He can break any type of barriers and any type of chains. So just keep praying that God sends you what's right for you. Sending you guys all the love, all the best. God bless, and I'll talk to you again next time. If you want to connect with me, this is Irene. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. Go to the Single Christian Girl tab on our website at cbiztvmedia.com. Connect and see some of the other content we have there. Our Prayers Up Club as well is at cbiztvmedia.com. Please listen and support. Some of these things are ad supported, so by you just going to listen, it's going to be a big blessing. Really appreciate you. I hope that this was a blessing to you, and talk to you again later. All the best. God bless.